yìnrín ẹ̀bá mi tó ń pè ní yìnrín ó tútù àti wà nínú òtútù. Mo kí Mr. Saheed Balógun ẹ̀ka rọ̀ṣà. Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Oòduà káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé. Mo ní ṣe dáadáa ni mo tún bá yín. Èmi àbúrò yín náà ni Ọláyọmí Kóìkì tí gbogbo yín mọ̀ sí KOIKIMEDIA. Mo kẹ́yìn ìyá wa, mo kẹ́yìn bàbá wa, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ jẹ́ olólùfẹ́ wa tí ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Mo wá ń kí bàbá wa alànà Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè, bàbá tí ó ń wọjọ́ ọ̀làlẹ̀ Yorùbá tí wọ́n sunkún pé báwo nìkan ti ṣe wá rí báyìí. Mo máa kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin diaspora pé a kú iṣẹ́ o nínú òtútù fáwa tí a wà inú òtútù. Ẹ̀yin tí ẹ wà Nàìjíríà náà tó kọ́bẹ̀ Elédùmarè kó jọ kó bá wa dá yín sí, kó má wà pẹ̀lú yín, kí a wá rí ṣe, kí a rí jẹ, kí a rí lò nínú ibi tí wọ́n ń pè ní Nàìjíríà kó tó di pé gbogbo ẹ máa dà wó. Gbogbo gbà ni àwa ń campaign pé Nàìjíríà kì í ṣe country kan tí a lè fi ọkàn tán mọ́. Nigeria has had huge impact on our lives, and it is time that we say enough is enough. But àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá kan ní enough is not enough yet, and that is the reason why tí a ṣì jọ wà nínú ibi tó ń pè Nigeria. Wọ́n kúkú ti ní kó restructure Nigeria for a very long time. Wọ́n refuse láti restructure ẹ̀ torí pé wọ́n mọ̀ pé tó bá restructure ẹ̀ ó máa work fún èmi, ó máa work fún ọ. But nítorí àwọn tí wọ́n ń jẹ Nigeria, àwọn jẹgúrújẹrá, àwọn ń wo tara wọn nìkan, wọ́n owó tèmi àti ẹ̀. And that has been the reason why we are struggling as Yoruba people. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn tí a wá ń sọ fún pé bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ yìí ó ti di ẹni tí kò lè ṣiṣẹ́ o. Wọ́n ní náà bó sì máa ṣiṣẹ́ pé ká ṣe sùúrù díẹ̀. Màá wá máa bi àwọn tó ní ká ṣe sùúrù yẹn pé títí dìgbà wo ni ká fi ṣe sùúrù yìí, àti pé títí di àsìkò wo ni ká fi ṣe sùúrù. Orí a máa ṣe sùúrù náà lákòókò wà láti ìgbà tí a ti wà nínú Nàìjíríà. But unfortunately, Nigeria has failed me and you. Gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń bẹ ní gbogbo ibi tí olúkálùkù wa wà. Mo ń bèrè láàárọ̀ ẹ̀, mo ní ṣé democracy ni à ń ṣe àbí in tó wù wọ́n lọ́kàn ṣe ní Nàìjíríà? Wọ́n kàn fi Nàìjíríà ṣe try your luck. Yoruba country can have its own system. But unfortunately, àwọn kan fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀, and that is the reason why we are where we are today. But àwa tí a ní a fẹ́, àwa ní àníjẹ́ kó sú wa, àdẹ̀níjẹ́ kó rẹ̀ wá, because it is the only hope for mankind. Kò sí nǹkan kan tí Nàìjíríà lè offer mọ́, gbogbo tó lè offer náà láti rí. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ try nǹkan míì, ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ try something different. But many of you ẹ fẹ́ jẹ́ ká lọ try nǹkan míì, so that is the reason why we are stuck sínú union yẹn. Àwọn tó wá jẹ́ politicians, they come every 4 years. They talk about Nigeria is going to work. Paper àárọ̀ ilé Metro newspaper. Àárọ̀ ẹ̀ tí mo ṣe program, mo tí mo paper yìí as at the time. Nígbà tí mo wá jáde lọ, mo wá ti mú paper. Mo wá rí pé in tí mo sọ láàárọ̀ yìí nípa independent of judiciary and police nílùú yìí, mo wá ń wo paper mo rí pé ó correspond mọ́ nǹkan tí mo sọ. We have probably just about 15 minutes or less, so I'm going to go straight into it without wasting too much time. Rishi Sunak, ìyẹn Prime Minister wa, ó ní I have a new flight plan because ní Supreme Court government ti lose. The government lost out láti fi kó àwọn èèyàn lọ sí Rwanda, àwọn asylum seekers. So Rwanda's scheme is illegal according to the Supreme Court yesterday ruling. But Prime Minister sọ pé òun ṣì máa fight. Prime Minister promised emergency law to fly migrants out, àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ illegal immigrants or àwọn tó ń claim asylum. So I'm going to read it briefly. Kẹ̀lé ní understanding in tí mo fẹ́ sọ lórí. Rishi Sunak is promising emergency laws to fly illegal migrants to Rwanda after the Supreme Court tore the current plan to shred and plunge him into another crisis. Britain's 5 most senior judges all agreed the East African state was not safe. Third nation to send migrants as there was a risk they could be sent back to the countries they already fled from. So in terms of the way, those that applied for asylum in UK, they were meant to be taken back. What if they want to see Rwanda? If they don't process one, and talk about processing case, don't feel we are padà wá sí UK, what to be padà wá. But the Supreme Court said no, that is not going to happen because Rwanda is not a safe place láti deport àwọn èèyàn lọ. But the government is not happy. But government ò ní choice. Kò sí nǹkan tí government lè ṣe sí because it's the Supreme Court ruling. The government says it's 140 million policy. I talked about policy. Policy is very, very important. The current administration sọ pé òun náà ní policy to bring Nigeria back, economy, security, and whatever the President Bola Tinubu is talking about. So there must always be policy. But this particular policy to try to send asylum seeker to Rwanda is not a safe place because that is still East Africa. It is still Africa, and Africa we know is a crazy place. If you send people there, they are likely to be sent back to their countries. So the Supreme Court says enough is enough, it's not going to happen. I don't have anything to talk about that because that could be a dotted video, so I'm not going to even talk about it. I'm not even going to read your comment out. So I've seen different version of the video, I'm not going to respond to that. So there's more problem than that as well. So the government says it's 140 million pounds. That is what the British government is going to spend on this policy. Almost a lot of money. Will deter people paying human traffickers to make a perilous channel crossing into the UK with small boats. I'm sure some of you got to UK in that route. And though but were playing on by the UK, I don't care, I don't know. But after a torrent of legal challenges, the only flight so far was stopped on the tarmac in June last year. So that means that's what the policy jáde. The government have not been able to take anybody to Rwanda. Even the only flight that was meant to take people out of UK to Rwanda, those asylum seekers, was stopped. That is a system that works. So that flight was stopped last year, June 2022. But the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, in Arakurin, right, is still insisted, I do not agree with the decision, but I respect it and I accept it. This is where we talk about democracy. The government of Bola Tinubu does not have to agree with everything that we talked about when it comes to those of us that wants to break away from Nigeria.
The next bus stop
But the question is, the Supreme Court in Nigeria today gives order and the federal government refused to listen to that order. That is not a country. If any country doesn't respect the institution, you might as well use tissue paper and clean your ass and drop it in the toilet bin and flush it off. That is Nigeria. Rishi Sunak, this man, only, I might not agree with the Supreme Court ruling, but I respect it and I accept it. Those two words are very, very important. The rule of law that Nigeria doesn't have, the reason why many Nigerians are struggling today, the reason why you're struggling as people is because Nigeria does not have rule of law. You see, rule of law in Nigeria, everything goes in Nigeria. It's a shithole country. Everything goes. And if a country doesn't have a rule of law, you might as well use tissue paper to clean your ass and throw it in the bin or in the toilet and flush it. So Rishi Sunak says, I don't have to agree with the Supreme Court ruling to say you cannot take asylum seekers from UK and fly them to Rwanda. Rwanda is not a safe place. But he says that the rule of law is fundamental to our democracy. We are prepared for all outcomes of this case. So the government of Rishi Sunak has also prepared that whatever it takes is either the Supreme Court says it's okay, take people back to Rwanda if they're claiming asylum, and if we process them, we can bring them back. But the Supreme Court said no, you cannot take people to Rwanda. Rwanda is not a safe place. Rwanda is just like Nigeria, it's just like South Africa. These are African countries that do not respect human rights. So, he now said, Rishi Sunak, that we have been working on new international treaty with Rwanda. He said it will give a legal guarantee that those that are sent from UK will be protected from removal. I mean, it's easy for this man to sit here and say that, oh, send asylum seeker to Rwanda, and if they get there, we will protect them. How are you going to protect them? You can't protect them because they are no longer in UK. The government there can do and undo, so it is very, very risky. And that is why the Supreme Court, 5 judges, says that you cannot, it is illegal to send people to Rwanda. The East African state was not safe. The third nation send migrants. But Britain also bring back anyone if, you know, Rishi Sunak says we'll bring you back. So let's go to page 4 for the continuity of these, asylum seekers. So again, you can see people protest. People will always protest. That is the only way you can get your message. Somebody's protesting. So keep them in UK. Don't take them to Africa. But if they protest, you are waiting for the easy way out of Nigeria. No problem. He says, I won't let foreign court block us. Do so by the court, and the new UK law would declare Rwanda a safe place. Rwanda is not a safe place, okay? Which is Sunak. So, again, but he also warned he was ready to ditch the European Convention on Human Rights, but which is enforced by the European Court of Human Rights. Standing behind a stop vote. So I'm not going to go through all those, I've read the most important part, but there's something I want to talk about again, which is the former Home Secretary. So I picked up something again, Sule Braverman. I talked about her this morning in my early morning broadcast. So now, these are public opinion, okay? So what you're looking right now is the woman that I'm talking about. She's called Sule Braverman. Atisake. Alaman Saki. If you underperform, we'll chuck you away and we'll bring somebody else. This is the prime minister. Now, these are what people are saying, public opinion. Will Sule Braverman end up leading a breakaway conservative faction? Politicians all over the world, they're all the same. Some of us will be heartily glad that Rishi Sunak did not keep all the promises he allegedly made to his former Home Secretary. Doing so would have caused irreparable damage. Did you hear that word? If this Prime Minister have done everything he has said he wanted to do, it would have caused irreparable damage to the social fabric of the United Kingdom. However, there are certainly issues here regarding the Prime Minister integrity that he would have to address. The question is, does your politicians at home in Nigeria have integrity? You should ask yourself that and be able to answer that yourself. Also, in the light of Sule Braverman, this woman, okay, Yai, ati Lidani, ati choke out. Braverman resignation letter and manifesto, the question has to be asked, will the Tories now split? Check about government issue must split, so no meji. Since the whole BRICS exit debate, remember that the BRICS exit, the United Kingdom left European Union in 2016. There was no fight, there was no gun. It was a vote, yes or no. The question is, we should be all, those of us that are in the quest for the self-determination, be given the opportunity to say, do we want to remain in Nigeria? Yes or no? If you don't want to remain in Nigeria, then it's either yes or no in a referendum. That is how things are done in a civilized society. So the UK left the European Union in 2016 and nobody killed each other. So asking for the right to self-determination is not a crime. It's just that some of you are too you are still because you're understanding it. And we don't blame you because like I said this morning, some of you, so my job is to remove you, and what we are trying to do is let you out, and then so that need breathing space, and you can decide think for but right now think for that is why we are helping you to think. Okay, the reason why you use this so that so you keep it moisture. Crude oil of shade, Vaseline long way. Even Vaseline lip therapy for more than 63 years. We have crude oil, but we can't provide Vaseline for you. They have to order Vaseline from outside Nigeria. Crazy country. Now, I was now trying to pick what people are saying after this Home Secretary has been chopped out at Isake. Now, however, particularly with the return of David Cameron, David Cameron, the former UK Prime Minister, is now the Home Secretary. No, Foreign Secretary, not Home Secretary. James Cleven, the Home Secretary. I'm sure you see how politicians are all the same. David Cameron left almost 6 years ago. Otutu government. But we're not a Lord. Government is part of the party government. They knew that he was coming back, but nobody saw it coming. And if you don't know who David Cameron is, Ojo Elele, okay, that is David Cameron. In case you don't remember him, because Ojo Meta. Now, this is Andrew McLusky, just the same way that man comment. So this is now public opinion on what is happening between the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, and everything. So Arakuni Kompireni, Andrew McLusky from Middlesex. Now that Rishi Sunak has put the final nail in his Conservative Party coffin, will some members form a breakaway new Conservative Party that will garner the grassroots and keep hold of some red wall seat, which at the moment will be impossible. Position themselves as the party of the silent majority. Just like Atiku was saying yesterday that maybe they have to march together. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I can't be mentioning names this morning because of the time constraint, but I say good morning to every one of you. This is KOIKIMEDIA, as we always say, and the time is just 8:49 a.m. in Nigeria. You are 1 hour ahead of us. Always remember that. And we're already in a very bitter winter. Not as cold as Canada, but I don't like the winter, so I try to make sure I dress very warm when I leave my house. Now, they wouldn't win enough to govern 100 to 150 seats, but would have a loud enough voice that the electorate will at least feel they were represented. The next person, Jim from London. Sule Braveman is on the roll. Rishi Sunak will not lead the Tory at the next general election. Sule Braveman as the leader will win by landslide. So what they are saying is that politicians, they're all the same. Unlikely January. I think the election is coming up in January. I'm not too sure. I'm gonna have to check. The next person is from Rotterdam, and he went to say, I would suggest that Sule Braveman, in a woman here, okay? I would suggest Sule Braveman is the closest the Tory party have to conviction politician, which is a very rare thing these days. I look at the people around her, and all I see as career politicians, just like in Nigeria. All your politicians are career politicians. They don't care about the citizen. All they care is all about you. All they care is about themselves alone. Politicians whose only interest is to further their own interest career. So some of you think the citizen in that contraction you call Nigeria. No, they're not interested in you. They are more interested in themselves because they are not here to serve the people. Let's go swiftly again. Eleni Sule Braveman is a decisive, speedful, toxic person. Toxic. You all know. Most of your politicians are toxic. Toxic in toba so Sule Braveman is a decisive, spiteful, toxic person. She's the last person who should be the prime minister. You know, Jagaban. One complain. Why are you complaining? You say you want Tinubu to be the president. He's been the president. Let him bring out the policy. Let him bring out the plan of how he wants to reform Nigeria so that Nigeria work for you. I am not in Nigeria. I am 6,000 kilometers away from Nigeria. So if you like, abuse me. If you like, say I be liberal, whatever, especially those bomb bastard Yoruba people where they call themselves conservative. I am not in Nigeria, okay? Before I suffer, it go pay. And I don't have anything to bring or to come and take in Nigeria. If I need anything in Nigeria, I can order it. It will be here within maximum DHL, maximum 7 days through the cargo. So, what am I trying to bring out this morning is just to tell you that in UK, no, they play politics, okay? And politics is a very dirty game. Enoriba Yoni on politics. I think I saw something again in the paper that I want to share with us this morning. Ní Nigeria, òun fún yàn lóyún, ó mọ bó ṣe fẹ́ tọ́jú ọmọ yẹn. Arábìnrin wọn ní uterus méjì, America ló wà. Okay? Ibẹ̀ kan ni mo fẹ́ lò. Ó ti wá lóyún nísìn. Ó máa bímọ. Àwọn tó bá ní uterus méjì, they are very rare. Very, very rare. About 300 people is not something that is common.
Very Street West.
Double pregnancy for a woman with 2 uteruses. A 1 in 50 million miracle. Kò sí nǹkan tí Elédùmarè ò lè ṣe, kò dẹ̀ sí nǹkan tí Jésù ò lè ṣe, kò sí nǹkan tí Ànábì ò lè ṣe. but àwa ti gbé gbogbo ìgbàgbọ́ wa lé àwọn yẹn nìkan without adding action to it, and that is where we have problem. So ìwọ tí ò ń gbàdúrà pé kọ́lọ̀ ń jẹ́ kí ìyàwó mi bímọ, hospital wo ló fi bí sí? Ìjọ tí ìbí rẹ̀ hospital wo ló fi bí sí? Ṣé hospital yẹn ṣé wọ́n máa lè tọ́jú ẹ̀? Ẹ jẹ́ ká sáré ka ilé ìjọ àní pé parí ètò. A woman born with 2 uteruses has become pregnant in both despite 1 in 50 million odds of double conception. Gbogbo àwa tá à ń wọ́ ọmọ ọlọ́run àjẹ́ rojú ọmọ lágbára ọlọ́run sórí uteruses òun lélẹ̀ so ó ti di méjì, ọmọ méjì ló máa bí. Kelsey Achi, she's 32 years old, just like a lot of you in Nigeria, female, 32 years old. Nobody to take care of you after somebody impregnated you and they don't run away. And even those that wants to stay, they can't take care of you because the hospital bills, the taking care of that pregnancy has made many people run and left women in dilemma in Nigeria. This woman, she's only 32 years old. This one, okay? She has 2 uteruses. Very, very rare case. 50 million miracle. Kesley Achi, she's 32 years old. She's also a massage therapist. A lot of you study the same thing in Nigeria. You are now doing POS. You mean, how can a female that study something, to do with healthcare, she's now doing POS? She POS there, it's because Nisha, Tagbado, Kukuru, and all that.
The destination of this bus has changed. We apologize for any inconvenience to your journey.
Once again,
please listen for more
Kesley
details.
Archie, she's a 32-year-old massage therapist from Alabama in United States of America. Found out when she was 17 years old that she had 2 uteruses that failed. A rare condition, very rare condition, very, very rare condition, affecting around only 300 women around the world. She and her husband, Celeb, found out they were expecting 2 daughters during an 8-week ultrasound visit in May. Many of you wants to get pregnant. We pray that those of you that are looking for child, long. But many of you tell you ǹjẹ́ system one in Nigeria láti bá yín take care oyún yẹn. Àwọn tí wọ́n tó lóyún gan wọ́n ti take care àwọn ká máa ti wá sọ̀rọ̀ tó lóyún, because the system is faulty and the system is not working. Nigeria is just a death trap for every single one of us. While writing on our Instagram account, Double Ashling, the mother of 3 roads, we were kind of blown away. She added, during the first ultrasound, we had a lot of laughs. Kesley is hoping to give birth naturally to the babies who she dubs the girlies. The due date of the thriving pair is around Christmas. Àwọn òkè àwọn máa ń sọ̀gbà tó máa bímọ, àwa là ní sọ̀gbà tá fi bímọ torí pé oṣù àtàjẹ́ kọ́ má bàa pọmọ ìmọ̀yàn lọ́wọ́. I mean, ìbá sọ fún yàn pé ìlú ìmú ti mọ̀ pé tí obìnrin bá lóyún, especially àwọn òyìnbó yẹn, á máa sọjọ́ tó máa bímọ, á máa wọ́ndà pé à ń sọrú nǹkan báyìí jáde, because the myopic thinking tiwa ni pé tó bá ti sọ báyìí, ìjọ ìkúnlẹ̀ ọmọ yẹn wọ́n máa lọ́kẹ̀ pa ni, because it's an evil country. Then pé Nigeria, most of you go to church, go to mosque, the tradition, they're all the same. So nílùú yìí àwọn òkè à, so eléyìí nísìnyí tó ń sọ pé òun máa bímọ ní Christmas, àwọn ń sọ yẹn ní bíbá, so next month ló ń sọ yẹn pé òun máa bímọ. Now ibi tí mo tẹ̀ fi lóògùn kọ̀ọ̀kan nìyẹn, ibi tí mo kàn ní ìdí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ibi tó ti ní only Kesley who may need cesarean, she might probably have to have a cesarean to get these babies out. Section for one of both babies' road. They like to tell me at every doctor's visit that you are aware we have never had a situation like this before. Kò ṣe situation tó common and tó ní uteruses méjì, very very rare. But only I feel like I have the best team for this situation. I am at the best hospital at Alabama. My question fún wọn tó ń wò mí láàárọ̀ ẹ̀, are you in the let me put it this way, do you have the best team currently right now in Nigeria to help you to manage whatever you are going through? That's the question. Ǹjẹ́ o ní the best team that can take care of you as people in Nigeria today? Ǹjẹ́ o ní? Or you are just waiting for that miracle? Think about it yourself and ask yourself, do you have the best team? Just like I asked this morning, are we practicing democracy in Nigeria? One thing is, when the appropriate time comes, some of you will come back to some of these videos and you'll be asking, but boy, then so I leave you again in good hands of Eledumare. This is KOIKIMEDIA, and it's just 1 minute past 9 a.m. Today is the 16th day of November in a very cold winter in London. I will leave it for now. Join me at 11 o'clock when I come back for the Star Radio UK Morning Show.